Good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming out to the dedication of Bucks County Bridge number 36 in honor of Warrant Officer William Herbert McDonnell, U.S. Army, killed in action January 24th, 1969. At this time, I'd like to introduce the Washington Crossing Color Guard and U.S. Marine Gus Gallus. That's going to be
Flying Fates. Folks, at this time, before we say the pledge of allegiance, we ask you to silence your phone. Detail. Please and here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ready, two. Post colors. Detail. One, hook. Right face. Forward march. Left. Left. I left. I go left. I left. Up early. Up early. Up early. I
Thank you, folks. You can all be seated now. Thank you. My name is Ed Preston. I'm the chairman of the Pennsylvania Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund, and I say thank you for coming today to honor Warrant Officer McDonnell. This is our 15th dedication with the Bucks County Commissioners in Bucks County in honoring the 136 men that were killed in action or missing in action from Bucks County. While today we're here to honor Warrant Officer McDonnell, we must also recognize the 3 other crew members lost in action that day. Lost in action on January 24th, 1969, Warrant Officer William H. McDonnell, pilot. Warrant Officer Scott C. Griswold, crew chief. Specialist 4 Bruce Westmoreland, and Gunner Specialist 4 John O. Tafia. I want to take it just a minute, have a moment of silence for those 4 men, please. Thank you very much. It is true, sometimes we forget to honor those that also were killed in the same action, so I'm glad we were able to do that today. That was at the request of Bill's sister, Patricia. So Patricia's watching it online today, so Patricia, welcome. Hope you're feeling well. At this time, I'd like to introduce Bucks County Commissioner Jean DiGirolamo.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Ed, for the good work that you're doing and helping put this together. It's very humbling, and I'm very honored to be part of this ceremony. As Ed said, I'm one of the Bucks County commissioners, and I'm proud to be here with my colleague, Commissioner Harvey. Before the ceremony, I was able to talk with a bunch of William's classmates, and we're here today to honor this bridge and name it after William McDonnell. And they all said they call him Billy. He was a 1967 graduate of Council Rock High School. So proud of him here in Bucks County. And I read a little bit about the story of him serving in the Army and being a helicopter pilot, and his bravery and heroism. It's just amazing. And it's only right that we honor him today and name this bridge and put a marker with his name on it, so that everyone from now on that passes this bridge will be able to look at that marker and see William's name, Billy's name. The story of the day he died in January 1967 was just a remarkable example of being a hero. He was the pilot of the helicopter. American troops were on the ground, engaged in combat, and he went immediately and tried to take the heat off the troops on the ground, firing from his helicopter. And unfortunately and tragically, the helicopter was hit, and not only Billy, William, but 3 of his crew members perished. What an act of heroism. And again, it's just an honor to be here with you today and recognize Billy. I know his brother's here. I talked to his brother also, Brian, and we're going to be hearing from him a little later, but 55 years have passed since Billy was killed. And let's remember him by putting this marker up. And I also want to thank the members of our Department of General Services for their work here today and helping set this up, and also our Communications Department for the work that they've done in putting this together. So good to be with you today. God bless you, and God bless Billy and the family, the McDonnell family. Thank you.
Thank you, Gene. All true. All heroes. Billy's story is, to me, incredible. A warrant officer at 19, not only in charge of his helicopter, but also the 3 other helicopters that were engaged that day on that mission. That just seems completely unbelievable to me at 19. But God bless him. I'd like to introduce Bucks County Commissioner Bob Harvey, please.
Thank you very much. I appreciate all the work that's gone into this event today. As Gene mentioned, there's a lot of county agencies involved, Veterans Affairs, Communications, our General Services, but we would not be here doing these programs. This is our 15th bridge dedication, were it not for the work of Ed Preston. So I'd like all of us to give a round of applause to Ed Preston. It was a day pretty much as hot as this in Humeville a couple of years ago when we dedicated a bridge there, a state bridge, PennDOT bridge, to Marine Corps Private John Candy, who lived in that area. It's one of the things that I think is most significant about this dedication process, is that working with Ed, working with our staff, we try to locate bridges as nearest we can to where that Bucks County resident grew up, where they lived, or maybe where they're laid to rest. We know Billy's interred at Newtown Cemetery, not too far. We know he grew up in Newtown. And obviously I didn't know him, haven't had a chance yet to speak with his family, but it's obviously very conceivable that he traveled over this road at some point in his life, over this bridge, probably never thinking about it. When we think about sending people off to war, it is always the younger generation who goes. As you heard, the act of bravery that Billy had displayed, piloting his helicopter through enemy fire to draw fire away from troops on the ground, to try and kill as many of the enemy as he could with his own rocket fire from his helicopter and allowing his gunners to use their fire as well. Doing all of that at the age of 19. The trust we put in our young men and women when we put them into harm's way, that at 19 years of age, piloting an expensive aircraft, leading the lives of other men, doing it on behalf of this country. It's important to think about the years that Billy did not have. He did not have a chance to grow old. He did not have a chance to raise a family. Didn't have a chance to come back here, maybe watch his grandkids play football at Council Rock or softball. But we are here, thanks to him, thanks to the sacrifice of many others. We're here to remember them. We're here to live our lives. And it's our obligation not just to dedicate memorials like this to them, but to think about the lives we're living. Are we living life that's worthy of that sacrifice? Are we treating each other? Are we treating our country? Are we behaving as a nation as would befit the honor that we bestow on people here today, like Billy? On behalf of the county, as Gene said, I want to thank all of you for being here. I want to thank Ed again for his efforts to keep this program going. We have another dedication, the end of July. And we'll keep doing these dedications as long as we're able to make sure we're recognizing all 136 men, they were all men, who gave their lives from this county to keep us free. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Bob is right. We're going to continue this effort till we get 136 men honored. That is definitely our goal. That is our mission. And we will not fail those 136 men to keep their honor and their name and their legacy alive. I'd like to introduce Matt Allen, Director of Bucks County Veterans Affairs.
Good morning, everyone. I have this book in my office that shows all of the Bucks County residents who were killed in action in Vietnam. And I looked at Warrant Officer McDonald's photo and I said, this is a very handsome fella. And it was confirmed that his first girlfriend was there as well. And she... So I'll read his Silver Star from the President of the United States. Authorized by Congress, July 9th, 1918. Takes pride in presenting the Silver Star to Warrant Officer William Herbert McDonnell, United States Army, for gallantry and action in connection with military operations involving conflict with an armed hostile force while serving with the 170th Assault Helicopter, which is coming back again around. With the 170th Assault Helicopter Company, 11th Aviation Brigade in the Republic of Vietnam on 23 January 1969. Warrant Officer McDonnell distinguished himself by exceptionally valorous actions while serving as aircraft commander of UH-1C armed helicopter on a mission to provide cover for supply convoys, transporting vital supplies to the central highlands of Vietnam. The area is characterized by narrow passes carved out by hills clustered with heavy jungle vegetation, providing the enemy with many excellent ambush sites and cover from air attack. While patrolling the area, they located an ambush site. Immediately, Warrant Officer McDonnell made an offensive strike at the enemy. His accurately fired rockets and his crew suppressive automatic weapons fire forced the enemy to divert their attention from the ambush and concentrated all their efforts in defending against the on-rushing helicopter. Despite the hazardous terrain, Warrant Officer McDonnell deftly maneuvered his aircraft, giving his gunners maximum field of vision, while at the same time avoiding the enemy's fire. Enemy fire, however, penetrated the vital parts of the aircraft, causing it to crash, mortally wounding Warrant Officer McDonnell. His actions were in keeping with the highest traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon himself, his unit, and the United States Army. The Silver Star Medal is the United States Armed Forces' third highest military decoration for valor in combat. The Silver Star Medal is awarded primarily to members of the United States Armed Forces for gallantry in action against an enemy of the United States. Thank you for Warrant Officer McDonnell for what you did to save the convoy's mission and lives of other soldiers. We, again, for each dedication, wish we didn't have to do these dedications and wish that every service member came home. This, however, is just a small token of our appreciation for what Warrant Officer McDonnell did. I will end with this. Remember that if you are dealing with mental challenges, please reach out to someone. You all are enough, and the world is a better place with each and every one of you. We have lost too many veterans to suicide, so please reach out. Thank you all for coming, and God bless each and every one of you.
Hoorah! Thank you, Matt. So in case you couldn't tell, that sound is very distinct. For some of the men, maybe some of the women sitting in this audience, that probably brought back some very, very, very powerful memories. That is the UH-1C helicopter, the Huey. That particular Huey is a 1HC, which is a gunship. In 1969, January, the 170th Attack Helicopter Company, the Buccaneers, had 7 gunships in its company. One was lost, number 6600579, when Billy's helicopter went down. One that survived is 16-0823. 823 just flew over our head. Think about that for a minute. 823 just flew over our head. It got in the country January 3rd, 1969. 21 days before Billy's helicopter went down. Back then, they were not assigned helicopters, they were assigned duty. We are 99.9% sure that Bill piloted that helicopter in Vietnam, in combat. I'd like to thank the Liberty Warbirds Association for coming out today and visiting us and sharing in William's memory. I think there's nothing more powerful than that helicopter. And it was cool. At this time, I'd like to introduce Brian McDonnell. This is William's brother.
Well, it might be 96 degrees out here, but at least it's not raining. Ed Preston, this tradition you've established of dedicating county landmarks to fallen heroes of the Vietnam War far exceeds the norms of compassionate volunteerism. What you've done here is started a genuine ministry. And on behalf of my siblings and extended family, we offer our heartfelt thanks. And thanks to everyone for coming out here, braving the heat, and having a desire to share this fabulous occasion. I want to also thank Ed for remembering those other 3 men in the gunship who went down. It was definitely a 4-man tragedy. I called Ed and I said my sisters had these people's names, and she contacted them years ago, the surviving family members. And I was, I said, we're looking for the names. We're going to get them to you. And Ed said, I already have them. So then I researched what the crew on these gunships, what their responsibilities and titles were. And Ed said, I already know that. So this is a very professional situation. There's a lot of veterans here, and research has been done, and it's all greatly appreciated. In remembering Billy as a boy, he was 4.5 years older than me, and I was the next youngest, second youngest, and so like hanging out with me wasn't a big priority for him. He was very popular. He was always going somewhere and doing something. While I'm on the subject of family, I want to quickly mention the immediate family members, those in the house that grew up with us, parents, and what the status of them is. And I won't get into grandchildren and nieces and nephews because it's too hot. But my mom, Edie, Nurse Edie, was a neonatal intensive care nurse at Doylestown Hospital for many years. Mom died in November of 2016 at the age of 92. My father, William, was a World War II veteran, staff sergeant. He died on his 97th birthday in 2020. He worked for AT&T and Bell Labs his whole life. Next in line after me came my sister Patricia, who's been mentioned. Her husband Jim. They live in suburban Indianapolis. My sister was a 5th grade school teacher, and Jim was an insurance executive. My younger brother Craig lives in suburban Carson City, Nevada with his wife Dione. Craig worked in state government as a utilities distribution expert, and Dione still works. Craig's retired, Pat's retired. Dione still works for the state government tracking unemployment data. Billy, I think, can best be described as a Newtown boy, 100%. He went from kindergarten to grade 6 at Chancellor Street School. Then he went to Council Rock High School, which was the old school, the middle school it turned into and since been demolished. And I remember going to football games, and oftentimes there'd be more Holstein cattle watching the game in Tomlinson's farm than people in the stands. That's how rural this area was in the 60s. If you were at a red light on State Street and there was 2 cars behind you, that was a traffic jam. So because I didn't get as much attention from my older brother as I would have liked, we traveled in different orbits, being so many years apart in age. I kind of became an antagonist. I guess it dawned on me that getting negative attention from him was better than getting no attention at all. And I can remember a couple of quick stories. Back in the mid-60s, the boys dressed very preppy. Nobody went to school in jeans and sweatshirts, and the girls wore skirts and dresses and looked awesome. It was a totally different time. And Billy was quite the dandy. And I remember one day watching him get dressed. He was going somewhere, probably senior year. He was putting his Letterman sweater on, preening and primping in front of the mirror like a Kardashian. And by the way, preening and primping are not words in my normal vocabulary. I had to look those up just to make sure they were accurate, and believe me, they are. So I went in there and started making fun of him, all these gyrations. And I said, Billy, I think all those pretty cheerleaders from school are doing the same thing you're doing right now. And I got physically ejected from my parents' bedroom where the full-length mirror was. We had two houses, a small starter house on Frost Lane that we lived in from my birth until 1965, and then we got a second house up in Spring Garden Mill, nicer, bigger home, typical upward mobility dynamic of the time with my parents. But right before leaving the Frost Lane address, I was like 11 going on 12, and Billy probably was 16. We were headed up to, he was getting ready to head up to the Chancellor Street basketball court to play a game with the big kids. Now, a guy named Rufus Miller, the legendary Rufus Miller, was like the mayor of that basketball court. His family's property literally butted right up against it, and he was out there all the time. Rufus in age was between me and Billy, but he was out there, he was working on his game, and he was one of the younger guys that was allowed to play with the big kids, is what we called them in basketball. Rufus had everybody's phone number because he'd do anything for a game, and eventually I got on his phone list. So he'd call me sometimes and say, there's 3 kids up here, why don't you come up and we'll play some 2-on-2. But I never did get a chance to play with the big kids. Then one day a phone call comes to the house. Billy's ready to go up to the court, and it kind of went like this. Billy's on the phone, said, "Hi, Rufus." "What? Bring Brian?" I was finally getting my chance, about a month away from leaving the borough to the township area, to play with the big kids. Now, Billy could give a look of disgust like Clint Eastwood, better than Clint Eastwood could. And he's kind of looking over at me, and he says, "You're playing today." So it's about a 1.5 block walk to the basketball court, all the way up there and getting my marching orders. Don't do any of that dumbass behind the back dribbling you like to do. Don't drive the lane, you'll be eating ball if you go on a fast break. Play good defense as best you can. And then came the kicker. Whatever you do, don't shoot. Now, when you're dealing with a professional antagonist like me, the first thing that goes through your mind is, first chance I get, I'm firing one up. Now, the court had those chain link nets, and if a perfect swish went through, it would make like a 2-note wind chime or a ka-ching sound. And the older kids, when they tossed one up and they knew it was good, they would yell ka-ching. So somewhere early in the game, nobody would be dumb enough to pass me the ball. I think I picked up a deflected, and I was beyond the top of the key, and all these thoughts go through your head in milliseconds, and I knew I wasn't able to shoot my classic jump shot from that distance as a scrawny little 11-year-old. It was too far. So I had to do the humiliation of a 9-year-old's push shot from the hip. And I let that ball go, and as soon as I did, I knew it was a line to the rim, but I didn't know if it had the right distance. But I thought, what the hell? I immediately yelled ka-ching, and it dropped right through. Sweet as could be. Billy's giving me this filthy look. I run up to him and I say, ka-ching, and he broke out laughing. He couldn't help himself. one of the sad realities of his loss is after high school, he went right into basic training. He had at least 6 months, I don't know for sure, maybe more, of 2 flight school sessions. And then he was off to Vietnam. So the only time we saw him after high school was one time when we went to his graduation when he was given his wings in flight school, and he was gone. So all my memories of him are from school days. Either my senior year or junior year or both, these memories are 60 years old and they're foggy. But there was this new thing called Earth Day, and we had like a outdoor fun day for this occasion, and I think some disciples of Abby Hoffman from New Hope came to the event. There was no violence, and people have every right to protest whatever they want. But it began to dawn on me, by now Billy's gone a year and a half or so, that the mood in the country was evolving beyond anti-war into vilification of the soldiers. And I don't know of any previous war where that occurred. And all that had me in a very dark place for years, probably well into my 20s and mid-20s, at least until the war ended. And then some acts of healing took place. There was an assistant principal at Council Rock named Jane Wilson who came there in 77, I think, and she set up a memorial for the 13 young men from our high school that were killed in action in Vietnam. And I went to a couple of Veterans Day ceremonies, and it was very moving, and it helped. And she was very courageous in doing that because this anti-war, anti-soldier mood was still very heavy in the country. And she set this thing up before the memorial in Washington, D.C. She became the head principal in 87 and was there from 87 to 93. I met her a couple of times. What a dynamic young lady she was, and she's passed away from cancer, I just found out. So actions like that, events like this, Billy's been gone 56 years. It still hurts like hell. But these types of activities, the memorial that was set up in my high school, really help with healing. Now that memorial's expanded to young men, and I don't know if there's any women or not. We don't want to forget that women are soldiers too, and they're on the front line, especially these days. But the memorial has expanded with Iraq and Afghanistan losses, and I hope like hell that it doesn't expand anymore. So in closing, one of the things that annoys me more than anything is I was never on a level playing field with Billy physically. I'm a has-been athlete. I had a pretty good athletic career, and I wish he had lived into his 20s so we could play one-on-one basketball or tennis or golf, and I'd get a chance to kick his ass at something. And unfortunately, that never happened. But I'm a person of faith, and St. Augustine tells us that when we reach the heavenly kingdom, we're going to have a heavenly body, and it'll be similar to early 30s, like when Jesus was crucified. That's the model for us. And so I just want Billy to know, I'm sure he's here in spirit, as all the family members I just mentioned, that I'm coming for you, and we're going to have us a game. Thanks again, everybody, for coming out here. This has been a wonderful occasion, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. One thing we didn't do is unveil the sign. So at this time, I'd like to have Brian unveil that sign that will say Warrant Officer William Herbert McDonnell Memorial Bridge. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce Peter Chung, representative from Brian Fitzpatrick's office.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we gather not only to dedicate a bridge, but to cherish the legacy of a man who took to the skies in defense of freedom. This naming of this bridge in honor of Warrant Officer William Herbert McDonnell, United States Army Huey pilot who was killed in action during the Vietnam War, a war that tested the soul of a generation and revealed the true meaning of sacrifice. In the dense jungles of Vietnam, the Huey was more than a helicopter. It was a lifeline. And behind those controls were soldiers like Warrant Officer McDonnell, who answered the call with courage and conviction. Day after day, mission after mission, he flew into the fire so others could live and never once back down from that danger. On January 24th, 1969, Warrant Officer McDonnell made his final flight. Not away from danger, but into it, as he always had, because that is what heroes do. He gave everything for his brothers in arms and for a nation that now stops to remember him. This bridge will now bear his name, a permanent tribute to a man who soared above the battlefield and gave his life in service. Every time someone crosses this span, they will unknowingly pass through history, reminded that ordinary people can do extraordinary things. To the McDonnell family, we know this dedication cannot fill the space left by this loss, but we hope it brings comfort to know that his sacrifice will never fade. Not here, not now, not ever. His name etched on this bridge will remind future generations of the price of service and meaning of honor. May God bless the memory of Warrant Officer McDonnell and these United States of America. And at this time, on behalf of Congressman Fitzpatrick, I would like to present the McDonnell family a flag of the United States of America that was flown over the United States Capitol in honor of Warrant Officer William Herbert McDonnell.
Thank you, Peter. At this time, I'd like to introduce Ellen Snyder, Chairman of the Board of Supervisors for Newtown Township.
That's a hard act to follow. I am so pleased to be able to represent Newtown Township in the dedication of this bridge for one of our own. Vietnam veterans, they never had a chance. They didn't come home to glory as they should have. Some of them, many of them, didn't come home at all. This is one way to say thank you to all those related to Warrant Officer McDonnell for giving of their families, giving of their own blood to help our country. And we can never say enough thank yous to our soldiers. And I wish you peace, and thank you for being here, and thank you for letting us dedicate this bridge in Newtown in honor of your relative. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. We have next David Goldstein, a representative from Senator Steve Senatorio's office.
Good morning. My name is David Goldstein. I'm a staff member with State Senator Santasiro's office. Unfortunately, the senator was unable to be here today, but we wanted to be here to thank you for the opportunity to be at this ceremony, and also to present on the senator's behalf a certificate honoring Warrant Officer McDonnell and thanking him with a deep gratitude for his service. So thank you.
Thank you, David. At this time, I'd also like to introduce Bucks County Commissioner Diane Marseglia.
Don't worry, I will be quick. I just finished a book last week by Tim O'Brien about the things they carried. And it's about what men in Vietnam carried, not just in their rucksacks and their helicopters, but their memories and their family and their hopes and their dreams. When I finished it, it made me decide, when I went up to the Newtown Cemetery the other day, to look for Officer McDonnell. And I found him. And it touched me that he is just yards from Officer Brees, for whom we named a bridge in Yardley, and only a few yards more from the co-pilot of my POW's helicopter. So when I stayed there for a while, I promised him, and I'm glad Ed came through with it, on the helicopter being here today. But I also noticed that it is a family plot, and there is a lot of pride there. And so I just wanted to close by just letting you know that you could see the pride his mom and dad has, Brian and his siblings, and there is a quote at the bottom of his stone that I will end with. And it says, "He is a proud young American who served his country honorably."
Thank you, Diane. That is truly accurate. Truly accurate. On behalf of myself and the Pennsylvania Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund, I want to just say thank you. I get a lot of accolades, and I appreciate that, but there are 6 of us that put this together. Vince Moscato standing here, Paul Schneider, Lori Moscato, Fran Drummond, Greg Woodrow. We all work together, Mike Sedano as well, to put all this together. So it always seems like it's just me, but it's really not. I just am better looking than them. So, hey, that's enough, Gus. Our next dedication will be on July 29th in Quakertown in honor of Major Frank C. Parker III. That will be on Tuesday the 29th in Quakertown. I will give you a bridge as soon as we confirm with the family which one they prefer, because we have already found that family as well. So it's very cool. This time again, I'd like to introduce Brian McDonnell to have a quick prayer.
I just wanted to give a shout out to my daughter Lauren and my significant other Kathy. I forgot to mention them, and both of them wanted to be here, but neither one could because of commitments and distance. A quick prayer for those in the armed forces of our country. Almighty God, we commend to your gracious care and keeping all the men and women of our armed forces at home and abroad. Defend them day by day with your heavenly grace, strengthening them in their trials and temptations. Give them courage to face the perils which beset them, and grant them a sense of your abiding presence wherever they may be. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. May the God of hope fill us with all joy and peace in believing through the power of the Holy Spirit, whose presence we have witnessed here today. Amen. Go in peace, everybody, to love and serve the Lord.
Thank you, Brian. Honor Guard.
Detail, pull. Honor, huh. Read the clock. Detail, port, huh. Right, feet. Forward, march. Left, by your left, early, 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 by your left, early, early.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out. We appreciate it. Have a great afternoon.